Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about 7 things, I'm going to be going over episode 3 of Shipwrecked. Now before I continue, please check out the links in the description below. I highly recommend the service, especially the 35-day one. Now onto the episode. We begin where we left off day 5, where Patrick and Allison are bickering with Sean. They all decide to take a beat and cool off. We then skip day 6 and 7 and are at day 8. Malou, Darren, and Annalise. Malou says their team has the best shelter and she's hoping for no drama. The distant water source is still a problem for the team as Darren has to hike 2 to 3 times a day to get it. And I'm sure Annalise and Malou also did the hikes at some points, but Darren seems to be the most willing to do it. And Malou and Darren are going to go hike up to the water source, and Malou wants to have shoes with her. So she uses her handy dandy duct tape to make shoes, and she's also making ankle guards. And Darren seems to just be waiting around. And then when Malou says she's ready, Darren was like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you." And she's like, "I've been waiting for you, but it's fine." And I would like to point out that the alternative to this would be Malou talking about her feet the whole time. So she's not doing this for her own sake, but for Darren's mental health. So you should be thanking Malou, Darren. Anyway, Darren and Malou start their hike, and unfortunately one of Malou's shoes begins to fall apart. Annalise goes hunting for food. Malou says that they need to work smarter, not harder, since the hike takes so long to get water. Annalise spots some chickens, but is unable to get any, and she has bow and arrows, but is unable to shoot it through the thick jungle. Sean, Patrick, and Allison. There is a lot of tension since the shelter argument they had day 5. Patrick and Allison get the shelter back in order as Sean works on a fish basket. He talks about making a half-cone funnel fish trap. Patrick wants to help Sean get the trap in the water, but doesn't feel like it'll work. There is worry that Sean used too much cordage to make the trap, which I'm sure will come up maybe in a later episode. Sean and Patrick go to set the trap, and Sean is worried about it since the currents are very extreme. Adam, Amanda, and Jonny. The team go exploring, but Jonny can't go far since he has to rest due to his high blood pressure. Adam and Amanda plan to go to a structure 1 mile inland to see what they can find. While on the hike, Amanda mentions her fear of spiders, and we see a flashback of Ernie because during their extraction in Botswana, Amanda and Ernie dealt with a lot of spiders, and Amanda is very afraid of spiders, and she lets her fear be known a lot. But I was happy to see Ernie, so that's nice. And while on the hike, Adam accidentally steps on a snake, and the two decide that they're just going to go back to their shelter. So unfortunately, they were not able to find the structure as of yet. Danny, Jamie, and Jarrell. Danny goes looking for food in the mangrove. She needs to find a protein source, and she's a vegetarian. She managed to find some mangrove palm seed pods, or napalm fruit. I don't know if I heard that right, but she finds some mangrove seed pods and takes them back to camp, and she also brings some bamboo. The team works hard on opening up the nut shells. After getting the edible inside, they try to make it more edible by trying to roast it and boil it to make it easier. That night, they tried the boiled nuts, and it doesn't soften them at all, and so they are unable to eat them. And then the wind picks up at night, and Jarrell tries to stoke the fire since he gets cold easily, and since he keeps waking up a lot during the night, he's up more often, so he's tending to the fire. But the fire begins burning the shelter due to the wind blowing it onto the roof, and fortunately the team are able to get the fire out, but part of their roof has been significantly burnt. Day 9, Malou, Darren, and Annalise. The team works on finding a way to get water quicker, and Darren uses bamboo to make containers, and we get some Malou backstory about how she is a water piping specialist and wants to make the water getting process as efficient as possible. Malou wants infrastructure when it comes to getting water to them more efficiently. They decide to use bamboo to make a water pipeline, and they need to knock a hole into each section of the really long section of bamboo, and then they want to connect the different pieces. And the team would cut and process around 300 feet of bamboo, transport them up to the water source. They would position them properly and may need to have rocks and Y sticks to help keep it up, because Darren talks about the grade of the pipes helps the water flow and all that jazz. And the team gets to work. It is a difficult process chopping the bamboo and carrying it up the mountain. Malou ditches her shoes and just wraps duct tape around her feet to protect them. The team finishes transporting bamboo for the day. They begin working on their piping system. The work is slow and steady, and this is probably one of the biggest engineering feats in Naked and Afraid history, and it is all Malou's idea, so good on her. You should all like her. The group has to be inventive on how they do this while working in the heat and humidity. Darren also has the idea to make notches in the bamboo to interlock the pieces. The team is working well together together and the work is going fast. Malou references the movie Castaway and how if Darren was in Tom Hanks' position, he would have an oceanfront property. And at the end of the scene, we hear Malou saying, "Tom Hanks, he ain't got nothing on me." Sean, Patrick, and Allison. Sean goes to check his trap. Allison goes looking for snails. She manages to find some and mention Sean got no feedback from her or Patrick about his trap, so they don't know how well it would work. Sean sees his fish trap is still where he left it and mentions that there's fish in it. Patrick says Sean should wrap the fish basket in a net so none can get out. Sean and Patrick go to collect the fish basket, and Sean tries to wrap the trap in a net, but it doesn't work out, and there is no fish in the trap. So it's unfortunate that they all seem to escape. Adam, Amanda, and Jonny. Adam and Amanda go fishing. Jonny still needs to rest and goes to get some water. He feels guilty for resting. After going to get water, he feels his heart rate increase significantly. And I read online via Facebook that if he just walked around in the shade, it might have been better for him to help decrease his blood pressure, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. And Adam manages to get a fish that the group cooks and eats. Danny, Jamie, and Jarrell. The team works on repairing their shelter. Later, Danny talks to Jarrell about being more careful with the fire. Jarrell wants to be warm, while the other two say he needs to keep the flames low at night. Jarrell says he's the one working on the fire all night and is not fully to blame. The tension is growing in the group, and I'm sure we will get a lot of bickering soon. Jamie and Danny work on the shelter while Jarrell goes fishing. Day 11, since we skipped day 10. Malou, Darren, and Annalise. The team is almost at the beach with the bamboo pipes. Darren wants to build a pool by a coconut tree, and Malou and Annalise are against it since they don't want to get hit in the head with a coconut. They finish laying the pipes and are very proud of themselves after all the hard work they did, and they have a nice little pool for the water to collect, and Darren compliments Malou on how she has grown. So yay, Malou. Good for this team for solving their water problem. Sean, Patrick, and Allison. Sean makes modifications to his fish basket, and Allison takes her bow and arrows to try and hunt. Patrick says he would have gone hunting already, but Allison's bow is a left-handed one, and Patrick shoots with his right. Sean wants to put the modified trap back, and Patrick goes with him. The ocean is treacherous as they try to put it in place, and they decide to come back when it's calmer, and the trap may be gone by then because Sean does drop it, but they decide to go back because of the waves and the current and whatnot. So hopefully all of Sean's hard work is not all for naught and they can get that back, but if not, whoopsies. Patrick and Sean seem to be good after bickering several days ago, which is nice. Allison is unable to spot any animals to hunt and goes back to camp. She says she probably won't go hunting unless they're in an area with more animals to hunt. Sean and Patrick apparently cannot hunt using a left-handed bow, but I would like to point out that Joe from Apocalypse, he was using Amber's bow after she left, and she had a left-handed bow and he's right-handed, and he turned the bow upside down and shot that way. So I don't know about this, oh, we can't shoot with a left-handed bow thing. You know, at least try, but I guess they don't want to go out and be like, oh, I missed the shot because it's a left-handed bow. It's all Allison's fault because they don't want to look bad, or Patrick doesn't want to look bad, but who knows. And Patrick is annoyed, and it seems the peace will not last long. The team eats the snails Allison got, and Patrick tells Sean and Allison their decisions were bad, and they put work and effort into things that didn't work out. Sean with his trap, and Allison bringing a bow that she regrets bringing. She also never hunted before, and Patrick is annoyed that the bow is a left-handed one. Allison and Patrick begin to bicker a little bit. Allison decides to walk away and feels very attacked right now. Danny, Jamie, and Jarrell. Jarrell goes fishing and is unsuccessful. Jamie is not doing well with the heat and stays in the shade. Danny talks about Jarrell working during the hottest part of the day and how she and Jamie are more heat conscious. Jamie and Danny are working on a mattress for Danny so she's more comfortable in the shelter. And Jarrell wants to build a raft to help with the fishing. Jarrell wants food, and the priorities of the group don't match up. He's annoyed with the other two since they're not working in the heat as much as he is, and he feels underappreciated. And finally, Adam, Amanda, and Jonny, the final group of the episode, because, oh no, disaster has struck. But first I have to give this little paragraph of information, and then the tragedy. Amanda goes foraging for limpets and snails. She finds a bunch and the group eats. Jonny is still feeling a bit off. They talk about how they can see him sweating in a tropical environment when it's around 92 degrees Fahrenheit. And Jonny says he's feeling lightheaded around 6 p.m., but it wasn't like that in the morning in a tropical environment. He talks about feeling his pulse and said he would tell everyone if he could feel it, and he feels it because the medic said, if you could feel your pulse, let me know, and so he's letting everyone know. His only symptoms seem to be feeling weird, slight dizziness, and feeling his pulse. And I was really confused because I'm like, is it just his heart rate now that's a problem, or is it high blood pressure? Because I looked online, and again, I'm not a doctor, but if you have high blood pressure, that decreases your heart rate. And if you have low blood pressure, that increases your heart rate. Or I think the heart rate affects the blood pressure, but if he has high blood pressure, his heart rate should be lower. And now that his heart rate is higher, it doesn't make sense for him to have high blood pressure. But again, I'm not a doctor, but it's all very confusing. We're not getting much narration from the narrator. It's just the medic. And it's like iffy on whether or not Jonny's gonna go, because they're talking about it and it's like, oh, maybe he can stay. He just needs to rest more. And I'm just very confused. And also the producer comes with the medic as well. But usually when the medic comes, a producer isn't with them. And now, both times Jonny has to see the medic, the producer's there too, but in the past, we just see the medic by themselves, and if it's pretty serious, they talk to the producer about it, so I don't know what's going on, but the medic comes in and takes Jonny's blood pressure, and it's still very high. There's still some discussion, and the medic officially taps Jonny on day 11, which means Jonny is leaving the challenge, and the Naked and Afraid fandom wept, because one of their favorite survivalists ever has been tapped on day 11. And it's really sad to see him go. He's the first to leave this challenge, and it's via med tap, and they have him swim to a boat for extraction. So thank goodness this wasn't a severe medical emergency and he was able to move, because if not, would they have a boogie board for him? I don't know. But yes, he is the first one to leave the challenge. And there's a point I want to make in a minute, but I'm going to go through the number of days and some other thoughts that I had, because it deals with the number of days Jonny has total, because there's inconsistency and now I don't know what to go with. Anyway, number of days after day 11, Darren has 126, Danny has 125, Patrick has 121, Adam has 72, Jamie has 66, Amanda has 46, Allison, Annalise, Jarrell, and Sean have 32, and Malou has 28, and Jonny either has 32 or 30, and I will explain that in a second. And it looks like the tension is slowly brewing in the team of Danny, Jamie, and Jarrell. We saw in the trailer that Danny talks about being bullied, which a lot of fans find ironic because she kind of bullied Shane and Danny J on her first XL challenge. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes and hear a lot of the irony if she talks about being bullied and how it's not fair and yada, yada, yada. And again, we're hearing mention of Patrick being a team leader, but none of the other teams are talking about it. And I think they should just stop harping on it unless they want to harp on it, because that'll get the fans talking. I don't know. And I would like to think that Malou gets the award for most improved for this challenge, because she's showing a lot of people that she is defying their expectations, because people thought she would go within the first few days, but here we are, day 11, and she's still going strong, so take that, haters. And also, I wanted to point out that Jonny's tap out was weird, and they had him swim to a boat for extraction, and what would they have done if he wouldn't be able to swim to the boat? I'm sure they would find some way, but to have him swim there, that's very interesting for them to do. And again, we didn't really have the narrator come in for a worst case scenario. We mainly hear the narrator talking about Jonny's situation when he was saying how Jonny was monitored for a few days and his blood pressure was lowered and he's doing fine. So was it the tropical environment that's causing him to do this? What's going on? It's like, oh, you're sweating in a tropical environment when it's 92 degrees, and I just don't know. I mean, that's supposed to be normal, isn't it? And also, Jonny said on a video posted on Naked and Afraid's Instagram that he lasted to day 9, but it was allegedly day 11 in the show. So I'm sure his quote unquote official number of days is 32, but his actual number of days is 30. So when I post the number of days each survivalist has now, I'm putting 32 or 30, but I think since he says he tapped day 9, he has 30 days. But if he's on another challenge and they give the number of his days, they'll say 32, but I don't know. And I would also like to point out that I think that unfortunately for Amanda and Adam, that they'll be the Wes and Steven of Shipwrecked, because on Apocalypse, Wes and Steven weren't really shown much in the edit until the merge happened. And I'm worried that unfortunately Adam and Amanda, they'll do a great job, but they won't be shown in the edit at all. So we'll see in a future episode if that's the case. I really hope it's not, because they're both very interesting characters and Adam, I think, wants kind of a redemption from his XL challenge where he ate the fish behind Heather's back, but we'll see. And I'm not saying, oh, I hope they're like Wes and Steven from Apocalypse. I'm just saying I think that's where this is going based off of the edit and what's shown for now. And since they're not bickering, maybe production's just like, oh, we'll edit them out. And I'm like, oh, that's not fair. But I'm sure when the merge comes, some interesting things will happen. And who will go next? Dun dun dun. I have an idea or two. But anyway, episode 4, Typhoon Warning. Stung by Patrick's criticism, Allison gets debris to craft an improvised fishing net. A tropical storm pounds all 4 camps. Mandy and Adam must abandon their battered shelter and push into the dense jungle. 2 teams secure much needed food wins. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, comment nice things, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.